Boom. Look at these. Look at all this technical difficulties. We're being just smashed with technical difficulties right now. Hopefully that has fixed everything. Yeah, what I was saying was that everything was fine, and then I just pressed live and it all just collapsed. So hopefully we're getting a little bit of lag and a few technical problems out of the way nice and early. Okay, here we go. Look, I can see people firing into the chat show. Shout out to everyone that's joining us. I am really excited for this. Genuinely, really, really excited for this. This is something a little bit different. This is quite an old show, and it's not an old WWE show, but it is on the WWE network. So if you've got the WWE network, you want to search for Clash of Champions, and then I think it says shows, and you'll see WCW Clash of Champions. That's where you want to go. And you want to go to the very first Clash of Champions, 1988. So it's not the easiest show to find, but if you type in Clash of Champions, the reason why we're doing this is because obviously it's quite late. This is a short show. It's less than 2 hours. But not only that, the main event of this show is one of the most important wrestling matches in like modern times. It's Ric Flair versus Sting. This is the match that makes Sting. This is the match that puts Sting on the map. It's 1988, and this is his arrival. He is competing for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, of course, that would go on to become the WCW title. So he's basically competing for the WCW title, but it's the NWA title right here. At this point, WCW wasn't... I don't even know if it had started. I don't believe it had. So I don't think WCW had quite started yet. So it's NWA at this point. Jim Crockett Promotions. The main event takes up a good chunk of this show. I think this show is like an hour and 40, and 40 minutes is the main event. The undercard's really strong as well. And honestly, it's one of those shows that if you're a wrestling fan, you should watch. I was listening to JR talking about this show, and JR said that this was one of the most important shows that he was ever a part of. This show was very much a show that put him on the map, put JR on the map, Jim Ross. He had done a lot of little shows before this. I've got so much to tell you about when it comes to the show. I'm really excited about it. So whilst I'm talking, try and find it. We're going to try and get going in about 3 minutes' time. So it's on the WWE network, as we said. And it's Clash of Champions 1 from 1988. It's in the WCW Clash of Champions playlist. And I can tell you that this took place on the same night as WrestleMania 4. So, you know, like how we've got NXT and AEW going head-to-head? Well, back in the day, you had Jim Crockett Promotions and you had WWF going head-to-head. And WWF put up WrestleMania 4 on pay-per-view. So they put up Clash of Champions. The thing was, this was on free TV, though. So anyone could watch this show for free. I think it was on TBS. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm sure that's the channel it was on. And it did crazy ratings. Loads of people. I think at its peak, about 7 million people had tuned in or something. It was crazy numbers. So it did really, really well. And it was up against WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4 did all right, but it definitely declined from WrestleMania 3. And this show was a big reason why. Because people had choice. They could watch this or they could watch WrestleMania 4. And a good chunk of people chose to watch this. And I think Dave Meltzer in The Observer says that from a in-ring point of view, it's a no-brainer. Like, you can watch both shows and no one is going to say WrestleMania 4 was the better show. This is the better show. The main event gets 4.75 stars. There's a tag match that gets 4-point-something stars here as well. The whole card's pretty strong. We're going to see Road Warriors, a.k.a. Legion of Doom. We're going to see Dusty Rhodes. We're going to see Mike Rotunda, which is Bray Wyatt's dad. Obviously, the main event is Ric Flair versus Sting. This is a stacked card, man. So I know a fair few people might be like, oh, why aren't we watching like Clash of Champions 2017 or something? And the answer is because it's boring and long. I mean, some of those Clash of Champions recent cards have been awful. Been really. I went back and looked at them, and I was like, I don't want to watch that again. I suffered it the first time. I don't want to watch it again. So I thought we would go for something special, and this is special. So yeah, I'm excited. Did NWA steal a WWE pay-per-view name? No, it's the other way around. So NWA had it first, and Clash of Champions would carry on into WCW. So Clash of Champions goes all the way through to the mid-late 90s in WCW. So when WWE bought WCW, they bought Clash of Champions as well, the name and the history, which is why it's all on the WWE network. So they own all of the history of Clash of Champions, which is brilliant because it means we can all watch it. More old school content, please, says David Paul. I love it, dude. I love it. And I got to be honest, when I was watching these shows, because I have seen this show before, I would imagine a lot of people will have seen the main event before. It's such an important match. It's one of those that everyone should see. You know, if you're doing like, I don't know, maybe 100 matches that everyone should see, I think this makes that list. I really think that would be a really interesting. This makes that list. So yeah, I'd love to do some more old school watch-alongs, but let's see how this one goes first, because sometimes the WWE Network can be a little bit wobbly, and certainly with this older content, it might struggle at times. But well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Are you still going to get Battlegrounds after that news? Yes. In case you haven't heard, I've got to be honest. I've not had any time to look into that news. I just managed to briefly go onto Twitter, and I just had so many notifications and so many DMs of people sending me this info. So if you was one of them people, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, because I had all of 2 seconds. It's been quite a busy night, so I had all of 2 seconds to go onto Twitter and have a look. And I don't know any more than what I put in that video. I don't know if there's been any other references found. I don't know if there's any other menus that use her image, or if it's just that one. I didn't get a chance to look into it as much as I wanted to, because we had this stream coming up. So, yeah, very, very interesting news. But anyway, we need to park that anyway. Days, is it the one that just says Clash of Champions in gold lettering? Can someone answer that for me, because I can't see it, because I've actually already got it queued up and I've just got a black screen, and if I come off this screen, then anything that's loaded will be lost. So I cannot answer that question right now. The playlist says WCW Clash of Champions in gold lettering. You click on that and then you go to 1988. And I feel like the thumbnail is probably Ric Flair and Sting. So, yes, it will be gold lettering. It says Clash of Champions, WCW. Click on that. Go to 1988. It's WCW Clash of Champions you want to try and find. That's the playlist. And then in there will be all of the WCW Clash of Champions. And we're going back to Clash of Champions #1 from 1988. It's really stupid. I tried typing in Clash Champions 1 and it couldn't find it. The search in the WWE Network is awful. Awful. I don't know why it's so bad. You should be able to type in Clash Champions 1 and it finds you the first Clash of Champions, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't work that way. So, yeah, it's a little bit lacking, the search. RJ Madma, shout out to you. Sean Reset says, yes, click on that and then go down to 1988. March 27th, 1988. I'm relieved that at least a few other people have found it. Tall Paul says it clocks in at 1 hour 54, so just under 2 hours. Clash of Champions. It's also on YouTube, is it? Is it? Is it? I'd be very surprised if it was. Maybe someone's put up an official kind of recording of it or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. NXT was good tonight. Cool. Danny Barnhouse. I don't have him around, unfortunately. Right, we're about to get going. Here we go. I really hate this background as well, but it was the best I could find. I found a couple of images from the show, but you couldn't really make much out, and they were quite small. And this is the image of Ric Flair and Sting, but I hate it. I really don't like it. I wish I'd gone with a different background, but that's honestly the best I could find. I don't think it matters, does it? In all fairness, I don't think it matters, but I want to throw it out there that I don't like it. Right, here we go then. We've got our little thing on screen. Hopefully everyone has managed to find it by now. It's all queued up and everything. So are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. Boom. Right. Champions. Right now I've got all the belts on screen. These are all the NWA titles. 3, 2, freeze. Yeah, I've got lag. 3, 2, and then we had lag. It must be to do with the phone. Must be to do with the fact that I'm using Wi-Fi, maybe. I'll change to 4G. Okay, well, look, people hopefully will be able to catch up. Right, let's try. I need to try and catch up. Boom, there we go. Right, well, we've got Tony. All right, there we go. Boom. Look at the tash on Tony. I know, that is a... There's JR as well. Jim Ross in a tuxedo. What an afternoon of wrestling excitement. Yeah, it did freeze. I think it's because my phone, I'm watching it on my phone, and my phone was using Wi-Fi, and I just think it couldn't cope. Couldn't cope with streaming and doing this at the same time. Is it just me, or is it really dark? Is the image really, really dark? I'm like sitting here and I'm like trying to see it and struggling. Look at this sexy beast of a man, this ring announcer. Who needs Brandy Rhodes or JoJo when you've got this guy? This is going to be the Mike Rotunda match. So this is Bray Wyatt. We're starting with Bray Wyatt's dad. As Precious, I think. Ronnie Garvin. Jimmy Garvin. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Right, here we go. We are set up. So, Jimmy Garvin taking on Mike Rotunda. You can see the big TBS NWA banner that's hanging above the ring. There's so much to talk about here. So much for us to... There's no mats around the edge of the ring. There's Bray Wyatt's dad with the jacket on with the big S. You can see the ring apron is green. And the ring ropes are red, white, and blue. We got white turnbuckles in there as well. And I believe that this is college rules. So, I don't know what the actual rules are with this. Need to have a look into it. Garvin is a tax cheat. Right, so... Mike Rotunda getting his introduction. So there might be a few times where they have to throw to commercial because, as we said, this was actually on TV. So the TV champion defends his title next. This is coming from Greensboro, North Carolina. I just want to have a look and see what the rules are for this match. Because it's a college rules match, and I don't know what that is. Right, here we go. The bell has sounded, and we are underway. Yeah. 3 5-minute rounds. One count to win. So it's only a 1 count that you need. I can't remember this match at all. So 3 5-minute rounds, and you only need a 1. I like that. I like that. I like the fact they're doing something a little bit different. Gorilla Press says, Stanley Alan Sherman, the creator of the Mankind mask, is also responsible for the helmet that was worn by Farouk Assad, the Ron Simmons gimmick. Yeah, it was good. That was. I enjoyed that your video, bud. Some very insightful stuff. Did he make the Sultan mask as well? I think he mentioned. So, hey, look at this. We've got a TV title on the line. Mike Rotunda, which is Bray Wyatt's dad, in there. Wrestling against Jimmy Garvin. And this is a special college rules match where you just need to get a 1 count. Just need a 1 count to win. And it's in rounds. So he looks pretty well put together there, doesn't he, Mike Rotunda? Who, of course, would go on to be IRS. So here he is in 1988. Jimmy Garvin scooping up, slamming down Rotunda, and he rolls out the ring. So I can't see the ring mats. The crowd are quite a way back. Yeah, there is no mats around the ring. The ring steps are right in the middle as well. There we go. Jimmy Garvin quite happy with the work that he's done so far. Days Fightful reporting that the reason Evil East no-sold last night was due to the 2 women having heat backstage, and that the AEW locker room sided with Rosa after the match. Well, listen, dude, if that's true, I was furious during that match. She was no-selling at times. She was just messing with her hair. She was sitting there and literally just waiting for Rosa to put on the next hold. Like, the level of unprofessionalism that I saw from Evil East was very unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I even said, it's very rare for me to say during a match, but I even said, I would say after that match, thanks for your time. We won't be needing your services anymore. So if that is being reported, that's very interesting. Gorilla Press says he did Sultan and he also did Abyss's mask in TNA. Interesting. Did you hear NXT UK returned? I did, yes. Right, we're still underway with this. What's great about these early matches on this show, none of them outstay their welcome. Because really for the first hour, you've got there's 4 matches. We've got Mike Rotunda taking on Jimmy Garvin that we've got right here. Next, we've got the Midnight Express, who are regarded as one of the greatest ever tag teams, taking on the Fantastics. That is for the NWA United States Tag Team Championships. We got Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes taking on the Powers of Pain and Ivan Koloff. That's a barbed wire match. We've also got Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard, 2 members of the 4 Horsemen taking on Lex Luger and Barry Windham. And then we've got our main event. So we've got 4 undercard matches, and then we've got that killer main event, Ric Flair versus Sting. So really looking forward to all of this, actually. Crowd are really quite vocal here. Road Warriors in action. They are, yeah. I'm in a very happy place watching this, says Miss Clown One. Shout out to you. Nice clothesline there by Mike Rotunda. There, 15 seconds, did he say? Yep. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That's it. So that's the end of the first round. So as we said, they're actually doing this for NXT UK. NXT UK is going to bring in something called the Heritage Cup, and that's going to be done in rounds. So I'm quite looking forward to watching that, actually. It's a knockout tournament, I believe, and it's done in rounds. So this is quite good. It's allowing the competitors to like regroup, and then they're coming out. Don't forget, to win, you just need a 1 count. So I like it. Varsity Club Mike Rotunda around this time. I believe so. But my old school NWA knowledge isn't great. My Jim Crockett knowledge isn't great. Because I only watched like the big shows. I wasn't sitting here in the UK. I wasn't getting like the territory wrestling, you know. Big back body drop there by Jimmy Garvin. Looking for a suplex. We've got, oh, hello. Kevin Sullivan grabbing Precious. Jimmy Garvin coming over. Firing in some big shots. It's Kevin Sullivan who's on the edge of the ring. There's the 1 count. That was so weird seeing the ref do a 1 count, and that ends the match. So there we go. Mike Rotunda managing to get Brainbuster. Managing to get the 1 count, and that's the end of the match. I need to try and find. I want to see Dave Meltzer's scores for this. Crowd is so loud. Jim Ross said that he loved this show, and he loved calling it. She's trying to choke Kevin Sullivan now. High-pitched screams as well, so it sounds like there's quite a lot of women that are in the crowd. She has gone wild. We've got like 5 people in the ring at the moment, all of them down. So Jimmy Garvin out the ring with Precious walking away. Jim Ross absolutely losing his mind. Absolutely losing his mind. I can tell you that is one of the lowest rated matches on this show. It only got 2.5 stars. So 2.5 stars for that one. Main event gets 4 3/4 stars. 4 3/4 for the main event. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to step on your stream. I was watching the wrong Clash. The first match I watched was Ron Simmons in it. Oh, no worries. Rockstar Ant says, I hate Kevin Sullivan. He killed Chris Benoit and his family and then blamed it on him. Well, you don't know that, so I'd be careful making those accusations. Of course, there's a lot of women in the crowd. Ric Flair is wrestling, says Mr. Rotella. We got Dr. Death. Obviously, Dr. Death would be brought into WWE for that Brawl for All. They had high hopes for him, and obviously it all went wrong. Didn't go to plan, really. If you've seen the show on Brawl for All, that Dark Side of the Ring, then you'll know all about that. But they're just chatting to Dr. Death. When I realised, I yelled, damn! Monica King says, and the crowd goes wild. Dr. Def says electricity is in the air. And I've got to say, it really is. The crowd are so up for this. Dr. Def says that no one's going to stop him. He's getting some promo time before we go to our next match. It's kind of cool. I like the fact that it's done on a bit of a platform, and you can see like the crowd and the ring behind him. He's not doing this promo like backstage or anything. There we go. Dr. Def, Steve Williams cutting a decent promo. We're going to the Tag Team Championship match now. And I can tell you this got very good reviews from Dave Meltzer. Meltzer giving this 4.25 stars, this next one. This is the Midnight Express, regarded as one of the best tag teams of all time, taking on the Fantastics. So, Midnight Express versus Fantastics. I don't know much about Fantastics. We've got a Cornette. Here's Jim Cornette. There was a Cornette section then. People holding up signs with his name on. Right, here they come with the belts around their waist. I didn't see what the belts look like at this stage. Cornette in there with his tennis racket, of course. And as we said, this whole show was on TV in 1988. It was on TBS. Just watch this. And it got really great ratings. Really great ratings. But I don't know if it's just me, but it does feel really dark. Right, here come the Fantastics, and they've got their... look at them. Wow. If you're going to wear no shirt, but still put on a bow tie, you deserve to be called Fantastic. And they've come down, and we are right underway. So, Fantastics wrestling in blue trunks, and Midnight Express in, like, silver with some pink and blue and red stripes across. It's really nice ring attire, actually. But they're fighting in the crowd, and again, the screams. So high-pitched. There's fighting outside the ring, fighting inside the ring. I haven't seen where Cornette has gone. A chair gets used, and you don't quite see. Yeah, it is breaking down, and I think the commentary team are just at ringside. Nice shoulder tackle. But this is carnage. Like, even the cameraman doesn't know where to focus. Big back body drop. Fantastics in control. This is just going to be really great. Proper tag team wrestling. Not like you see in WWE these days. Look, Jim Cornette with a chair. Big boot. There's a table getting set up as well. They have come to fight. This is explosive. Cornette holding out his tennis racket, and he's just running away. The screams. I can't remember watching a wrestling show that had such high-pitched screams. That's a really big kind of... Cornette throwing the chair as well. Look at him. Gorilla Press says they didn't have the LED lighting in the 80s. No, they didn't. I do enjoy watching Cornette work as a manager because he comes in and he throws a chair and then runs away. He's such this brilliant heel that you just love to hate. Get control of the match, ref, says Robert. We want tables, says Dominic. I got to tell you, this got a very good rating, like over 4 stars this match. They're working at quite a pace here. Both of Midnight Express being thrown into the corners. Cornette on the outside, banging on the ring, trying to get them back into this match. But the Fantastics in control at the moment, firing in some big-looking strikes. Really good action, non-stop. United States Tag Team Championships on the line. So, I think, are we starting to settle down towards a proper match now? Yeah, finally we are. Finally, we've got 2 guys on the outside, 2 guys in the ring. Days, why do you think it took Vince so long to get JR, seeing how good he was on commentary back then? Well, apparently this... I mean, I don't know JR's actual history, but apparently this is one of the first big shows that he did. He'd done a lot of regional shows, but this is his first kind of breakout moment, if you will. And, I mean, it's well known that Vince doesn't like Southern wrestling. You know, he doesn't like all that Southern stuff. He didn't like WCW and Jim Crockett and, you know, all that Texas wrestling and... You know, he just that wasn't his style. So I think that there was maybe a bit of a cloud hanging over JR because of that. But really, this is like his first big exposure here, JR. And 5 years later, he would go to WWE. So took Vince 5 years from the moment that he really would have seen him. But, yeah, within that time, you know, JR's seasoning, isn't he? You know, the more big events that he calls, the better he's getting. So you could say that, you know, by the time he joined WWE, he was at the peak of his powers. Right, we're still underway, and I can tell you that the Midnight Express have managed to get back into control here. Dropping of the leg, dropping of the elbow. Cornette is a genius, says Gorilla Press. He was very good manager. Very good manager. Fantastics trying to come back into it. The worst Cornette bump was the scaffolding bump when he tore both of his ACLs. Yes. That was Starcade, wasn't it? I can't remember the year. But, yeah, that was the Road Warriors, wasn't it? And scaffold match. Here we go, up top, looking for a big elbow and connects. So, Midnight Express in control. Tag's been made. Ricochet denied his leaving. I did see that, yes. Did WWE put NWA on network recently? No. They've had the rights to this since they bought WCW. Back in the, when would it have been? 2001 that they bought them? Yeah, 2001. So as soon as they bought it, they got rights to the video library. And as a result, they picked up all the old Clash of Champions and everything. So we know that they've got the rights to the old Crockett Cups. All the old Crockett Cups are on the WWE network as well. So... But this is just a really nice length of time, this one. It only runs for less than 2 hours. And as we said, a lot of that is the main event. So as nice as it is to watch these matches, and I'm really enjoying this one, it's this show, make no mistake about it, is all about that main event. It's all about Ric Flair and Sting. Rusty Shackleford, 360, shout out to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Says, Days, just wanted to shout out famous KJ. Happy birthday. There we go. A shout out from Rusty Shackleford and myself, famous KJ. Happy birthday to you. Hope you've had a great day. Right, we're still underway with this match. Sunset flip, but where's the ref? The ref being distracted. The ref distracted at the moment. That allows the Midnight Express to do some double team work. And... nice kick to the back of the head. So, Midnight Express still in control. They are the champions here. thrown out the ring. And Fantastics struggling a little bit at the moment. It looks, I mean, like there's chairs and tables everywhere. I can't believe there's no mats. I can't believe that, he gets slammed down onto the table. It's really weird because it's so different to WWE. Because you've just got a ring on a concrete floor, and then you've got like railings, and then the front row is like really far back. So the front row of the crowd is a good distance away from the ring. It reminds me a little bit more of like New Japan. When you watch New Japan these days, it's got that kind of a feel of bulldog outside. It's kind of crazy, but they're using the table a lot because it's softer than the concrete. So there's people getting driven into tables and bulldogged onto tables because that's a softer landing than doing it onto the concrete floor. Midnight Express stomping away here. Few looks of concern on the faces of the crowd. Fantastics are just having to regroup for a moment. This match can't be going on much longer. 2 matches after this and then Sting Flair, yeah. Yeah, it's this show isn't going to be sticking around very long. Yeah, it is, Eric, it is Clash of Champions. Don't search Clash of Champions NWA. If you search for Clash of Champions, you should find the WCW playlist. And if you click on that and go all the way down to 1988, the very first one, then you should be able to find it. Nice drop toe hold and elbow to the back of the head. Referee again distracted. As we said, we should be towards the end of this one. Tommy just got slammed on the table because that's better. I know, it's weird, isn't it? It is weird. Referee, we haven't said for those that aren't watching, referee in a proper referee shirt. You might remember around this time, WWE refs were wearing like just plain blue shirts, but this is a proper black and white. Jim Cornette in! Jim Cornette! Oh! Jim Cornette jumping in, so there was 3 working on one. He's got the tennis racket. And he takes a big right hand. Cornette goes down. I think there's quite a few people that would love to punch Cornette in the face. Here we go, the Fantastics 2. And they get it. The Fantastics win. Midnight Express were doing everything they could to cheat there. Cornette coming in, using the tennis racket, hitting one of his own guys. But we've got new champs. And there's so much that's like hitting me as I'm watching this show. The high-pitched squeals of the crowd, I think, are really interesting. Like, because it shows there's a lot of females, a lot of women in the crowd. That's really striking me. The other thing that's really striking me as well is just the passion that's in Jim Ross's voice. Like, you just do not hear that on AEW at all. I mean, he's a lot older now. Maybe he can't do it now. I don't know. But he's really popping for a lot of these spots. Jim Cornette, look, he's got a belt and they're whipping away. Oh, he's really unloading. The Fantastics have won the match, but they're not going to be leaving looking like champs. Look, Cornette giving one to the ref as well. You have that. He looks young there, doesn't he? Oh, so they didn't win. Oh, no. I thought that the Fantastics had won because they get the pin. That's quite a confusing finish. But it's actually the Midnight Express that win because the Fantastics throw the ref out of the ring. I'm so used to seeing referees getting manhandled and nothing happening that it's so weird to actually see them getting disqualified. But he grabbed the ref, so yeah, they end up getting disqualified. So it's not the Fantastics that win, it's actually the Midnight Express, who were cheating at the time anyway. It's Jim Cornette's birthday today. The Fantastics had a short run in WCW, says Vape Ross Vape. Heather says the Fantastics were the #2 feud behind the Rock and Roll. A dusty finish, says Mr. Rotella. Heather says there were tons of female fans back in the day. I gotta tell you, man, it's so... Hello, Ken Osman. Ken Osman from the new Leave It to Beaver. That is a killer cardigan, Ken. Killer cardigan, Ken. With Jim Cornette. Okay, I don't even know what this is. Oh, okay, so they're doing a little promo about the Midnight Express. But this guy in a killer cardigan is just chatting about, should we go to your mom's house and play tennis? Like, honestly, that is something that has just been said. Should we go to your mom's house and play tennis? I admire your mum. I know that Jim Cornette's mum was a big part of his gimmick. He was playing the role of like a spoilt rich kid. So it does kind of make sense. But it is still a little bit strange. Celebrities. Yeah, we got Gary Hart. So 2 matches down. We got 3 matches to go. We've still got Road Warriors. We've still got Dusty. We've still got Arn Anderson. See Wrestling, shout out to you. It's great seeing Gary Hart. He was a great manager. Al Perez. I don't know much about Al Perez. Does anyone know much about Al Perez? He's talking about going for the US Championship. A gale storm cannot keep me from getting that title. A whole storm of gales. R.I.P. Gary Hart. He should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. No, Al Perez, and I don't know who that is. The Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup. So they're just promoting some forthcoming events. Hello, Francis Crockett. So they're talking about the Crockett Cup here. The 1988 Crockett Cup. So the 10 teams that are seeds. The Varsity Club. The Fantastics, Barry Windham and Lex Luger, the Powers of Pain, Midnight Express. They had some, what team? The Road Warriors, Nikita Koloff and Dusty, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. I mean, look at them teams. Look at that for a tag team division. That is just ridiculous. I know there's a lot of like single stars that are put together there, like Sting and Ronnie Garvin and whatever, but man, incredible teams. Kind of puts the Dusty Cup to shame, you know, where they do the Dusty Cup in NXT these days, don't they? That's nothing compared to the Crockett Cup they were doing in the late 80s there. Right. There's Dusty and the Road Warriors. Dusty with his face painted. Good reaction for Dusty and the Road Warriors, as you would imagine. Just the Rhodes, baby. And Road Warriors versus Ivan Koloff. Powers of Pain. Right. This is is this the barbed wire match? It's a barbed wire Chicago street fight. Well, there we go. Everything happening in this match. Wrestling Days fan, shout out to you. So we've got Powers of Pain that have come down. Where is the barbed wire? So the barbed wire is wrapped around the ropes. Look at that. So you've got the ring ropes, but wrapped all around it is barbed wire. How are they going to get in the ring? Oh, man, that person's got a Magnum TA shirt that looked awesome. So, yeah, how are they getting in? We've got Powers of Pain and Ivan Koloff outside the ring. You've got to roll underneath it, but you do kind of clip it. And here we go. We're underway. This is not going to take long. We've got everyone fighting in the ring. Already. Animal having his face put into the barbed wire. Same with Ivan Koloff. Is that Barbarian that's got that, like, mask on? It kind of looks a bit like Jason. This is cool. Daisy, you getting a PS5? No, bud. Today's tag teams would run a mile coming up against the beef of the Road Warriors and the Powers of Pain. It's really cool. No rules. Careers and everything is on the line. It's so hard to follow everything that's happening. Good old-fashioned Texas barbed wire around the ring, says Heather. Nice. Fist drop down there on Ivan Koloff. So Dusty with the bionic elbow. Ivan Koloff's trying to put Dusty against the barbed wire. He is close. He's down on his knees. His head is right next to the ropes. Yeah, I think he has gone into it. I think there is a bit of blood there. There's stuff happening everywhere. It's kind of difficult to follow. But I think Dusty has got blood coming down his face. Hawk, I think, is draped over the ropes as well. Headbutt. That's how they did it back in the day, says Heather. There's not going to be a winner. It's just going to be who can be the last standing. Big strikes by Dusty. Crowd absolutely loving Dusty, as you would imagine. DDT by Dusty. Yeah, going for it again. Rhodes so hard. I tell you, that's something else. I'm finding it so hard to follow everything because the cameras are like on the outside and they're at weird angles. Like the production is not as good as what you would get with like WWE. So it's really hard to, and what with the lights being quite dark as well, like it's got a very, very different feel to WWE. Very different feel. I know that this is back in 1988, so you have to take that into account as well. But it's darker, it's grittier. And it's over. The match is over. So Dusty and the Road Warriors victorious. So so that mask was a protective covering, and the mask has now come off, and they're punching him in the face with some chain. Yeah, big strikes coming in. I don't know the backstory on why he was wearing that mask. Ivan Koloff with that chain whipping. Hawk, there's Dusty. Ivan Koloff getting out of the ring. Madness. Madness. Shout out to Cora Turner. Shout out to you. Well, there we go. They didn't stick around for long in this barbed wire street fight. I can tell you that Dave Meltzer did not enjoy that match at all. He only gave that match 1 star. I think it was very difficult to follow, if I'm being honest. Like, the Road Warriors are big guys with face paint, and so are the Powers of Pain. So it was really hard with the lights being quite dark and the camera on the outside to kind of follow. I found it difficult to follow. And Meltzer wasn't feeling it. He only gave it 1 star. So we've got 2 matches left. That's all. 2 matches left. We've got the NWA World Tag Team Championship match. This is going to see Barry Windham and Lex Luger taking on Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. I can tell you that Meltzer gives that match 3.5 stars. So he's into it. And then the main event, Ric Flair versus Sting, 4 3/4 stars. And then we can say that we watched the first ever Clash of Champions from 1988. And isn't it fun that we've got JR and Tony together on this show, and they work together each week on AEW Dynamite, of course. Nikita Koloff. Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare. Ivan Koloff was Repo Man. And was it Axe or Smash from... no, Smash was Repo Man. Less than an hour. Oh, what? That's left. Is there? Oh, yeah, you're right. Wow, actually, I think it's about an... Is it? Just over an hour. About an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, so we've just got a promo from Nikita Koloff, who was a massive star around this time. I don't need a belt to be a champion. It's weird seeing him in a white... You're not right in the head, Tully Blanchard. Okay, but there we go. Nikita Koloff basically calling out Tully Blanchard, but also calling out any of the champions. Says he doesn't need a belt to be a champion, but he wants one anyway. So decent show so far. But as we said, this very much is a show that's built around its main event. Kind of the way to look at this is it's kind of a bit like boxing where you have like a massive main event and then you got the undercard. With this, it's a good undercard though with some big names. But I mean, you can just tell that it's not the focus. Like these matches are not sticking around for very long. Next, we've got the World Tag Team Championships being defended. And again, I don't think this is a match that sticks around very long. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, taking on Barry Windham and Lex Luger. Right, let's change the graphics. Been a lot of tag matches on this show, hasn't there? Okay, Arn Anderson. Okay, so they're just getting their introductions. Lex Luger. The man they call the Total Package. So Barry Windham and Lex Luger, very young Lex Luger. Very long hair. Obviously, this is what, again, 5 years before he was in WWF with the whole Lex Express, the Narcissus and all of that. So this is a good few years before all of that. Fun times, says Miss Clown One. David P85 says Nikita Koloff was American. He was, yeah. He was a great wrestler around this time. There's Arn Anderson as well. Someone else that we see quite a bit of in on AEW. Obviously the manager, if you will, of Cody. And Tully Blanchard, his partner. I still wonder why Lex was never inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. He definitely deserves to go in. I mean, maybe not so much for what he did in WWE, but I mean, you could say that 93 was huge for him, you know, in WWE. If you think about him slamming Yokozuna and going to SummerSlam and fighting for the title, and he was meant to be the champion and everything, you know, he co-won the Royal Rumble, and for a long time he was seen as the guy. So yeah, it's a bit strange that as a result he doesn't go into the Hall of Fame. You could argue whether, you know, he deserves to for what he did in WWE, but there's no denying what he did in wrestling overall means that he should go in. Another high-pitched scream comes out from people at ringside. Really behind Lex Luger here. Big clothesline by Lex. Clothesline to Arn, and Arn goes down as well. Luger looking out to the crowd. Everyone on their feet. So, yeah, people really into this match. Scoop, nice. Power slam of Tully. I can't get over. It's the big talking point for me. They keep cutting to the crowd. You just got so many women. Just like absolutely loving it. I mean, it does make sense because you have got like guys wearing next to nothing, just ripped to shreds. Like, it does make sense that women would want to go and cheer on their favourites. But you don't see that so much anymore, which is a bit strange. Here we go. Tully getting tagged in. So Arn and Tully working really well together. Of course. One of the great tag teams in the history of tag team wrestling. There's the chat on the screen isn't moving. Oh, I don't know. Let's see if I can reset it then. Arn going hard into the corner. Just lots of exciting technical problems on this stream, isn't there? Big strikes coming in by Barry Windham. Against the ropes goes Tully. Flying clothesline by Barry Windham. Even Tony is so animated. Barry Windham slamming down. There's J.J. Dillon outside the ring, another legend. It's so interesting hearing the commentators with like real passion in their voices. Okay, a little bit of lag by the looks of it. Just so many technical problems tonight. I really don't know why. It's okay if you can't fix it. Well, I've tried to fix it, and I think it's fantastically backfired, to be honest. Right, we're still underway with this tag match. We are in the Greensboro Coliseum, as we said. There's a few photographers around ringside. Barry Windham trying to slam down Tully. And he does. And again, people just on their feet all throughout this whole show. People absolutely loving this show. Against the ropes goes Tully again. Abdominal stretch by Barry Windham. J.J. Dillon jumping up, trying to provide a distraction outside of the ring. Arn Anderson gets him. DDT by Double A. 1, 2, and a kick out. Again, I'm not expecting this to go that long. Because obviously the big focus here is that Sting. Ah, big spine buster. That Sting Ric Flair match. 2. Shoulder up. 1, 2. And again, shoulder up by Windham. Right, let's try and jump into the chat again and try and fix this. All right. Can't hear what they're saying over the thing. There we go. Fixed. Jay Lee says, maybe one day, if you ever get Stephanie on the channel, you can ask what her father screwed Bret. Why her father screwed Bret Hart. I'm from Canada, and that's wrong. Shoulder up. Well, it's a difficult subject, isn't it? Because Bret was leaving, and Vince didn't want him to take the title, so he needed to get the title back. So it's hard to say who's right or wrong. Vince asked Bret to drop the title. Bret refused. So you could argue that's wrong. You could argue that Bret screwed Bret, and that's exactly what Vince did argue. You know, he wanted Bret to drop that title in Montreal. Surely Bret should do as he's told. The only thing is, apparently Bret did have some creative control in his contract at the time. So it did allow him a little bit of a say. So that's where things started to get messy. But he was leaving. But then another problem was he hated Shawn. And Yeah, they just really struggled to find a conclusion that would, please everyone. And it went down the way it went down. Arn Anderson working on the arm of Barry Windham. In comes, so Arn Anderson grabbing Barry. Nice snapmare there. Trying to drop the knee. JJ Dillon watching on from outside. Big left hand by Arn Anderson. Barry Windham firing a shot back. Look at that. Windham went down like 5 minutes after he'd been punched. In comes Tully. He's got him on and does slingshot him off that top rope. Tully celebrating. Couldn't get it though. Barry Windham managing to just get his shoulder up. People going crazy, man. Windham. Lovely right hand. Tully goes down. Tags in on. In comes Lex. Just cheering after cheering. Such a red hot crowd. Lex has got Arn Anderson against the ropes. Big clothesline. I like how Arn Anderson's wearing red attire, but his is like a dirty red. It's a darker red. Whereas Lex, who's the babyface, his is more electric, more vibrant red. Nice shoulder tackle. Knee to the back, though. Lex Luger goes down. Arn getting up to his feet first. Nice reversal. Arn into the corner. Big power slam. Huge power slam by Lex. JJ Dillon looking very, very concerned. Barry Windham coming in, firing some big shots, trying to deal with the threat that is Tully. Tully goes down in the corner. We got Lex and Arn. JJ Dillon holding up that chair. And I think Lex has won. Lex has won it. Man, people are losing their minds. It's Jerry Springer. JJ Dillon is absolutely devastated. Lex Luger and Barry Windham have got those tag titles. The crowd make this match, you know. The crowd are making this event, actually. Just when you think they can't scream anymore or they can't get any louder, something else happens and it just goes up another level. Like this crowd. JJ Dillon almost in tears. There we go. New tag team champs. The crowd is amazing, says Monica King. Bray must have loved this show. I mean, like, I can understand why people love this show because it's a very popular show. It's a much loved show. And I think it's because everything is moving at such a pace, you know? You're not getting many rest holds here. You're not getting much, like, slow action. Like, barbed wire match. All of, 5 minutes or whatever? Boom, we're moving on. Now you've got this tag match. What a pace that was as well. You got the crowd screaming. You got JR and Tony at the top of their game, just like really putting in a lot of enthusiasm. And it's really just driving the show along, you know? And we're at the main event. We're at the main event. And this is it. I cannot tell you how important this match is. This match really sets up the 90s, if you think about it. Ric Flair had been a big player in the 80s, but they needed another big name for the 90s. And for WCW, is there a bigger name than Sting? Like, for me, Sting is WCW. Well, this is the match that puts Sting up there. This is the match that cements him as a main event talent. So this is the I don't want to say this is the arrival of Sting, because that's not technically true. He'd been around before this, but this is the arrival of Sting as a main event talent. They're just showing us the judges. Jason Hervey, the star of the Wonder Years. The cardigan guy is a judge as well. Right, and here we go. So we've got the entrances. Here comes the Stinger. I'd love Mattel to make a figure of this Sting. It's quite plain, but again, so important, you know. Gorilla Press says it's the kid from the Wonder Years. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the Wonder Years, so it's kind of lost on me, but I'd imagine a big deal in '88. Not as loud for Sting as what I was expecting, you know. People on their feet, people certainly appreciating. Here we go. Time for the Nature Boy. Bum 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 bum. Look at him. The man. The man. Just look at the robe. The blonde hair. He is the man, isn't he? He is the man. It's easy when you watch this to understand. You really get it more, actually, because, like, one of the things that's come across to me is just how gritty the show is. Like, there's no ringside mats. You can see the exposed concrete. It just feels a little bit more rough than what WWE does. They're even putting J.J. Dillon inside of a cage so that he can't interfere. So he's been put inside of a shark cage. But what I'm saying is that Ric Flair really stands out even more with his robes and his finery because of how gritty this feels, you know? At WrestleMania, when you see Ric Flair, you go, yeah, that works. That makes sense. And maybe it loses just a little bit of its impact because it fits so well. Do you know what I mean? He was built for WrestleMania. But seeing him here in these kind of venues that are a bit darker and grittier, it does make him stand out a little more. Look at that robe. Big gold as well. So good. So good. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo! Lots of wooing in the chat. Woo! 45-minute time limit. So it would normally be an hour, but because this is on TV, it's 45 minutes. Now that's what I call a title bout. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, we've got Ric Flair in purple trunks, purple knee pads, Sting in black tights, face paint. Ric Flair goes against the ropes, gives out a woo straight away. This is our main event. All the talking is done. Sting lets out a cry as well. And the crowd respond to Sting. Sting looks awesome here. He looks awesome. Black tights. Obviously, this is like Surfer Sting. So he's got his blonde kind of crew cut. He's got his little ponytail as well. But he's got black tights, gold like scorpion on the side, red boots. Sting looks like $1 million. Flair always looks like $1 million. Oh, man, I'm loving this. J14, shout out to you. Days, have you seen the Rick and Charlotte Snickers ad? I don't think so. David Paul says, excellent documentary on Flair on ESPN's app. It's 30 for 30. Check it out if you haven't. You know, I don't think I've seen it yet. Mr. Rotella said, I had no idea I'd be watching this tonight. I'm excited. Shout out to you, Mr. Rotella. Shout out to you. Right, the two locking up in the middle of the ring, and Ric Flair getting an early advantage. Saying a bit of trash talking to Sting as well. What time are we on? I want to make sure that I'm at the... Oh, I'm a little bit out of sync. Down goes Flair. So the two locking up and exchanging battles at the start. They're locking up again. Test of strength where... working over, and it's Flair that goes down to his knees. Sting into the corner. Big chop by Flair. Sting comes walking forward. I love that. I love that. That's great. That's great. So you got Sting in the corner. Flair with one of his patented chops. And Sting just walks forward. And Flair's like, ah! He doesn't know what to do. Flair's like, ah! Backs into the corner and ends up outside the ring. Ric Flair doing anything and everything he could to get Sting over in this match. JR was saying, if you're a fan of wrestling and you want to know storytelling and you want to know the intricacies of wrestling and you want to know how to put a match together and what makes a good match and how to tell a good story, how to build pacing, how to lay the foundation work and take the crowd on a journey. This match. This is the match that does it, or one of the matches that does it. There's also an article I saw. I can't remember who wrote the article, but it was the top 10 most important Ric Flair matches ever. This was on it. I don't know if they list it in order or whatever, but I know this made it. So Flair pushing back at the head of Sting. Two of them in the middle of the ring at the moment. Trying to get Sting back against the ropes and Sting having to break this hold. And there we go. Sting reluctant to let go. And as soon as he does, gets punched in the midsection, but hurls Flair against the ropes. Shoulder tackle. Down goes Sting. Sting over the top. Good little sequence here. Again, Sting over the top. Gorilla press slam. Up in the air. Boom! Down goes Flair. Lovely little sequence. Flying head scissors by Sting. Hip toss as well. Nice takedown also. Going for the cover. And Ric Flair just getting his shoulder up. Wow. Miss Clown 1 says there was always mad noise from the crowd at the WCW shows that I attended as well. Jim Ross says, I don't sense this is going 40 minutes. I think that we're going to get a 3 count at some point. So, headlock applied at the moment by the Stinger. So, Sting on his knees. Ric Flair trying to get up to his feet. Oh, I like that. I like that. So, that's really clever. Tony just said that if this match ends anytime soon, don't worry, we've got some backup matches that we can show you. We've got some other things if this main event doesn't go the distance. So they're really kind of setting up the fact that, you know, this could finish at any time. And if it does, don't worry, we've got other matches for you if it does. It's little details like that you just do not get anymore. Like, commentators just wouldn't even think to say that these days. They're saying that Sting's got a slight cut on his chest. Nice shoulder tackle by Sting. Down goes Flair. Looking for a hip toss. Couldn't get it, but reversed by Sting. Sting gets it. And again, another takedown. And again, Ric Flair kicks out. Very good. Very, very good. I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, but this match brings me back, says William Hensey. It's really good. Advisor. So, just a headlock at the moment. So, keeping Ric Flair grounded. So it was a 2 count. Ric Flair reverse him, trying to pin Sting. Referee having to be all over this. Yeah, the ref's having to have eyes in the back of his head here because Ric Flair's trying to grab whatever he can grab. He's pulling back on the head, on the face of Sting. Here we go, up on his feet. And Ric Flair. Oh, again, this headlock really well applied. Pushing Sting against the ropes. Shoulder tackle. Down goes Flair. Oh, that was good. That again, what I really like there is that Sting goes against the ropes. He could have jumped over the top of Ric Flair, but instead he saw an opportunity to go back for the headlock. And you would. The headlock was working for him. So, if there's an opportunity to go back to it, you would take it, and that's exactly what he's done. Some nice... That's what they talk about when they talk about the psychology. It's not doing the showy, flashy thing. It's doing the most logical thing. It's doing the thing that you would do if you was in a fight. And that's missing from wrestling these days. That's what you don't get in modern wrestling. What you get in modern wrestling is showy thing, showy thing, showy thing, showy thing, showy thing, right? What you don't get so much of is logical thing, logical thing, logical thing. You don't get what makes for a believable fight. And if they need to go through the gears, if they need to, you know, get moving a little bit, they can, and that's what we're seeing here right now. A beautiful drop kick. I think Flair was just a little... Oh, no, he got caught! He did get caught! I thought that Sting hadn't quite got it. Flair doing his classic walking forward, tripping over. That's vintage Ric Flair. Vintage Ric Flair. Flair, though, going over, grabbing Sting, hurling him out the ring. Sting coming right back in, and again, Ric Flair. And again, really putting over Sting, because there's been a few times already in this match, and the crowd are really starting to get on board with this now. The crowd are probably louder now than they've been at any point in this match. But there's been a few moments that Ric Flair has tried to do something to Sting. Right back to that headlock again. Right back to that headlock. There's been a few moments where Ric Flair has tried to do something to Sting, like be it a punch or a chop or something, throw him out the ring, and he just keeps coming. And there's a few moments where Flair has to keep like backing away. It's a good side headlock at the moment. Amazing ring psychology, says Chalmers. Nice reversal here by Ric Flair, trying to pin Sting. This side headlock's still applied. And referee trying to change position to try and see, but... shout out to Monica King. Shout out to everyone that's joining us. Mr. Whoppers 631 says, is this on the network? It is, yeah. If you just find WCW Clash of Champions, go all the way back to 1988. This is the main event of the first Clash of Champions. And this is regarded as one of the best, most important wrestling matches in recent times. I say recent times, it's what, 32 years old. Here we go, Sting getting driven back against the ropes. And as a result, that headlock has to be broken. Nice strike to the midsection by Ric Flair. Clash Champions, March 27, 1988. This was the last ever match in WCW on Nitro. It was. Sting versus Ric Flair. That wasn't as great, to be honest. Big chop. Again, he is laying these chops in, but Sting coming back. Strike to the midsection by Ric Flair. Kick to the midsection by the Stinger. Against the ropes goes Flair. Up, gorilla press. And slams him down. Sting looking incredible here. Look, Ric Flair on his knees saying no. Selling of Ric Flair, so good. Bear hug by Sting, middle of the ring. See, that's something else that you never see these days, is just a bear hug. Simple bear hug, but it was such a go-to move back in the day. Squeezing the air out of your opponent. And you don't see that now. You can hear Ric Flair screaming, my back. I do like that. I do like the fact that you can hear them saying stuff to each other. And it's not like calling spots or anything. It's Ric Flair like screaming in pain and saying my back and no. And it really adds to the battle. You feel like you're watching an epic encounter. You feel like you're watching a big deal. It's definitely got that big fight feel. Sting didn't need help getting over, says Heather. They're doing the old arm check. And Flair managing to keep his arms in the air. Again, lots of screaming. The crowd are still totally on board. Ric Flair's quite close to the ropes. Lovely camera angle where you can see the ropes and you can see Ric Flair very close to them. And again, Sting with this bear hug. So the story right now is Sting is taking Ric Flair down to the ground. 30 minutes remain. So 15 minutes have gone. 30 minutes remain. So we're already a third of the way through the match. Sting's still got this bear hug applied. Ric Flair is still grounded. It's good to hear the announcer saying how long is left. Yes, I agree. Shoulder up by Flair. Oh, still squeezing by Sting. Again, he's saying my back. Yeah, I agree. I think it really adds. We had this conversation the other day about time limits. I can't remember who it was, but someone said they don't like time limits in wrestling. Honestly, they don't get used. This should be used more. Certainly I think it would really give Raw and SmackDown matches a bit more purpose if you knew that their time limits were shorter than pay-per-view matches. If you knew that for a pay-per-view, the time limit was, say, half an hour, but on Raw and SmackDown, it's 10 minutes. A match cannot go longer than 10 minutes on Raw and SmackDown or whatever. And then once 5 minutes have gone, there was a little announcement. 5 minutes gone. 5 minutes remaining. Or something along those lines. And then, 1 minute remaining. 30 seconds remaining. 10. 9. It would add to the matches. So I completely agree. It's really cool listening to hearing them announce that 15 minutes are gone, 30 minutes remaining. Inverted atomic drop by Flair. Adds urgency, says John. I agree. So Sting is down. Flair going over, grabbing Sting. He's managed to get him outside of the ring. Sting into the railing. It's kind of interesting because the one side, the entrance side, the crowd are quite close to those railings. But the other side, they're quite far away. Sting again getting thrown into that railing. Yeah, the commentators are saying, Ric Flair was saying, my back, but look at him now. Now he's back in and he's hurling Sting into the railings. He's grabbing Sting. There's a bit more urgency here by Flair. Flair enjoying a good part in this match. Nice chop. All of a sudden now Sting hasn't got the energy to reply like he did at the start. Sting actually goes down to his knees. Collapses down face first, and this has got to be quite exciting for Ric Flair. So, at the start of the match, he was chopping at Sting, and Sting was just walking forward. Now, we're a third of the way through the match. He's chopping at Sting, and Sting is now sinking to his knees. So, you're being told of, how Sting is doing physically. The fact that, he's not able to do what he could at the start of the match. This is all part of that psychology that we talk about. We're seeing Sting now starting to show the wear and tear of the match. And as a fan, you're now starting to think, is this the beginning of the end? Ric Flair, the man. Has he got Sting where he wants him? He's just hurled him into the barricade. He's dropping the knee. So the knee right across the forehead. Ric Flair going back to the corner. Gives out a woo and drops another knee. And Sting can't get out of the way. And a rake across the back as well. And again, just raking across the back. Again, what's he reaching for? I couldn't see. I think he grabbed him by the nose or something. He is the dirtiest player in the game, says Tony. 25 minutes remaining. They're telling us every 5 minutes now. We are approaching the halfway point of the match, and Ric Flair just running Sting's face across the top rope. And Sting now holding his eyes. Big chop by Ric Flair. Big fist as well. Sting goes down to one knee. Sting going over to the corner. Flair in total control at this point. Hurls Sting out the ring. And you can just hear loads of women trying to offer words of encouragement to the Stinger. Flair with a chair, but the ref stops him. Oh, this is good. This is good. Miscount One says, so happy and lucky that I got a chance to meet these absolute legends. Yes, they are them. I mean, you're talking, in regards to Ric Flair, you might be talking about the best ever. You might be talking about the best ever. But again, we're right back outside the ring, and we're right over by those railings again. And Ric Flair getting back into the ring. Sting on the outside. Sting trying to get back into the ring. The referee just having a word with Ric Flair. Grabbing Sting. In the corner, another big chop. Elbow by Flair. Chop again. Just reminding you that we're from the Greensboro Coliseum. David P85 says, have you seen Ric Flair, Kerry Von Erich at the first Von Erich Memorial Parade, which had the largest crowd watching a wrestling event at that point in time? I haven't seen that event. Big right hand by Sting. Ric Flair to the outside. No, I am the first to admit that when it comes to the territory stuff, I have seen this match before, but it will have been like, I will have had it on in the background whilst I would have been doing some other stuff. Honestly, I don't even know when I first saw it. It might have been when I first got the network. There's so much territory stuff I didn't have access to till I got the network. And then I've dipped into some of the territory bits and bobs, because there's loads of territory stuff on the WWE network. If you really want to dig into some of the history of wrestling, like the 70s and 80s stuff, there's tons on the network that you can dig into, like AWA. I think Mid-Atlantic's on there. I know Stampede was, but isn't anymore. I think is WCCW on there, World Class. So, yeah, I need to explore it a bit more. But in all fairness, if I'm going to do that, it makes sense to kind of stream it. Kind of explore it together. So that as I'm learning stuff and seeing stuff for the first time, I'm sure there'll be people out there learning and seeing stuff for the first time as well, Big strikes coming in by Sting. Man, I hope we get some half as good as this. Sting really coming back now. Half as good as this year at Clash of Champions. Hip toss by Sting, clothesline. So Sting really coming back into it, going for a cover, but shoulder up by Flair. That was close. Sting now calling out to the crowd. The sexy woman, Eva Marie. Hamad, shout out to you, my friend. Nice standing vertical suplex by Ric Flair. By Sting, sorry. Ric Flair down. Sting looking out at the crowd, and that really firing him up. He's going for the Scorpion. Deathlock, he's trying to turn him over. And he's kind of got it, but it's so close to the ropes. That would have been it. 20 minutes remaining, that's it. 20 minutes remaining. 25 minutes have gone. 20 minutes remaining. Sting just put on his Scorpion Deathlock, but it was really close to the ropes and he had to break it as soon as he put it on. So, I mean, you can tell right now that we're just waiting because it's, you know, the moment's going to come. Sting will put that Scorpion Deathlock on, and when he does, will Ric Flair tap. When Sting puts on that Scorpion Deathlock that's just been teased, will Ric Flair tap. So they're planting these little seeds. What happens when Ric Flair puts on the figure 4? Will Sting tap? Ah, look at that, Ric Flair with a chop. And Sting walking forward, really showing us where Sting is in the match right now. Big right hand, Ric Flair goes down. And foot on the rope, foot on the rope. Only gets a 2 count. Flair back in the corner. Hip toss. Over the top goes Sting to the outside. Wow. To think guys like Triple H would have been watching this back in the day, thinking these are the guys that I want to be like. That's a really good point. Everyone that's anyone in wrestling has seen this match. Sting popping up in the corner. Big crossbody. Down goes Ric Flair. Ooh, just gets 2.5. I tell you, the match might have lost. I mean, not to me. I'm loving it. But it might have lost some of its impact to some of the younger audience because just so used to, like, spot fest. This kind of slower pace where the match is building and it's got real psychology and there's little seeds that are being planted and, you know, just little moments throughout the match. That might be lost on people now. I don't know. I don't know how this comes across in 2020 to someone that is so used to AEW, you know? To me, it's brilliant. 25 minutes. 20 minutes, yeah. What's the difference between a Scorpion Deathlock and a Sharpshooter? I don't think there is much, to be honest. Ric Flair in the... RJ Madness says one's used by Sting, the other by Bret Hart. So we do have Sting in the corner. Ric Flair trying to grab him. Looks like he wants to work on that leg, which is going to be perfect to soften it up for that figure 4. Sting going outside the ring. Ric Flair going up top. Sting lying down. Ric Flair's not someone that tends to do high flying, so I wouldn't expect him to go jump into the outside, and he ends up stepping back down. Days Sami Zayn, AJ Styles tomorrow. That'll be good. Here we go. Sting getting back into the ring. Ric Flair driving a knee into the leg of Sting. We haven't had a figure 4 yet. Again, working on that leg. So it's all about the leg. Really trying to soften it up. Mr. Rotella says, the match is fantastic, but where is green shirt guy? We've got green apron instead. The ring apron is all green. So the actual ring is paying homage to green shirt guy. It's just a shame that the middle isn't like a smiley face. 15 minutes left. So we've already had half an hour of this match. 15 minutes left. That's all that's left in this match. 15 minutes as Ric Flair gives out a woo. He's looking for the figure four. And it's on. Figure four is applied. So Ric Flair had been softening up the leg of Sting. Finally, he slaps on the figure four. J.J. Dillon is celebrating in that shark cage. Ric Flair holding onto the ropes for some extra leverage. Sting is in absolute agony. And there's real concern in the crowd. The crowd are not whooping and cheering as loud as they were. Sting's trying to fire him up. He's trying to fire himself up. And Ric Flair is just constantly using the ropes for leverage. Everything on the line. This is for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Again, look, Flair using the ropes. Sting pleading. Sting really battling hard here. It looks like he's on the verge of passing out. He is jacked, isn't he, Sting? He is absolutely jacked. He's trying to pull Rick away from the ropes. He's trying to pull Rick away from the ropes so that he can't leverage him. Look at Sting is fired up. Sting is fired up. He's really got the crowd. He's trying to turn it over to reverse the pressure. The pressure will then be on Ric Flair if he does. Sting trying to turn it round. And it is. And now the pressure's reversed. And that really works as well. As a kid, I put my younger brother in a figure four. And if you reverse it, it does reverse the pressure. Figure fours hurt as well. They proper hurt. It is a move that really hurts. Finally, he manages to break it, but fun little moment there. So good. So good. Ric Flair over by the ropes. Both men having problems walking, says JR. Nice kick to the leg. Sting over by the ropes. Sting in a lot of pain now. Ric Flair had done a lot of work to his knee and then put him in that figure four. And he looks like he's going to try to superplex him to the outside. He's trying to get him up. The referee's actually trying to stand in the way. The referee's trying to actually stop him from doing it. Sting reversing though. Sting has got Ric Flair up. Suplexes him into the ring. So Ric Flair was trying to suplex Sting out. Sting ends up suplexing Rick in. Sting against the ropes. Comes crashing down, but Ric Flair gets his knees up. It is an absolute back and forth titanic battle. Who is leaving champ? This is a proper championship match. Both guys giving their absolute all. Their absolute all. Back and forth. Taking the crowd on a journey. Crowd are right there with them. Against the ropes goes Sting. He's looking for a abdominal stretch. Middle of the ring, and he's got it. Sting with an abdominal stretch on Ric Flair. And referee asking Rick if he wants to give up. It's going to take more than that to get Ric Flair to submit. What's worse, a figure four or a full Nelson? I actually think the figure four is worse. 10 minutes remaining. Only 10 minutes. We're getting down to the final. We have now got less than 10 minutes. It goes fast. I don't know why, but when it comes to these kinds of matches, the first 20 odd minutes tend to go quite slow. Like, as soon as you get to like the halfway point, you do think, oh, okay, we're halfway through. So you've got to do what we've just done again. But then for some reason, it seems to go quite quick. Now we've got less than 10 minutes. Ric Flair up top. Sting has caught him. And those little announcements really help as well. They really bring the crowd into the match. Hurls Ric Flair into the ring. This has gone fast, says Chalmers. Heather says, I watched WCCW, NWA, and Mid-South as a kid. Sting going for the cover, only getting a 2 count. Sting dragging Ric Flair over to the corner. He's got Ric Flair. Oh, no. Space Mountain getting hurled into the ring post. It's a good job he'd already had Charlotte by this point. And Sting now stomping away on the legs. He's going to go for the... He's going for the Scorpion Deathlock. No, the figure 4. He's gone for the figure 4. Figure 4 by Sting. Middle of the ring. Look at this. Figure 4. He is using Ric Flair's own move on him. If you're going to win a championship, this is how you win a championship. You win by putting the champion's own finishing move on him. Ric Flair in tons of pain right now. Tons of pain. Ric Flair is in so much pain. He's biting his hand. He's having to bite his own hand. He's in that much pain. And some trash talking by Sting. And they're showing one of the judges at ringside. He's trying to get to the ropes. He can't quite reach the ropes. I don't know how long's left. I haven't heard an announcement. But we can't be too far away from 5 minutes remaining as Ric Flair gets to the ropes. Sting shouting out to the fans. Uh, 10 minutes remaining. I think we got even less than that now. Big strikes coming in by Sting, and the crowd are counting along. Ric Flair, hip toss. Ric Flair in the corner, pleading with Sting. He's on his knees. And Sting really starting to come back into this match now. Big strike, and look at that. Ric Flair down. Ooh, Sting stomping on the knee. And again. Again, I think the other thing that's quite lost is if Ric Flair loses this title, that is a massive deal. Like, when you got a new champion, a new NWA World Champion, that was huge. It's not like today where if the title changes hands, you go, oh, okay. Oh, over the top. Classic Ric Flair. Sting hurling Ric Flair into the corner. He goes flipping over the top to the outside. JR is losing his mind. Days, we need a Von Erich Freebird stream. That'd be fun. Over by the judges' table. I think the judges have just moved out the way for the set. Yeah, they have. Sting smashing Ric Flair's head into the judges' table. That collapses down. He's broken the judges' table. Into the ring post head first. Ric Flair goes over the barricade. People are screaming and shouting. I haven't heard an announcement on time. Ric Flair holding on to that barricade. 5 minutes! There's 5 minutes remaining! Ric Flair over the top. He's trying to sunset flip Sting down, but Sting pounds his chest. Big right hand. Less than 5 minutes left in this championship match. Ric Flair, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, taking on Sting. People love Sting. Can he do it? Ric Flair again in the corner, pleading. Sting coming over, grabbing Ric Flair. Big strike to the midsection, a big boot as well. Sting going up top, firing in some big right hands. Pounding away, and the crowd are counting along with every blow, but inverted. Atomic drop. Sting stands, stares at him. Clothesline. Ah! Foot on the rope. Foot on the rope. 2.9. 2.9. The fever pitch. The fever pitch. You can feel it building. Oh, over the top goes Sting to the outside. He tried to collide into Ric Flair. Ric Flair moved out the way. This is all about the time limit. That's where this is building. That is where this... Because people know that he's running out of time. People know that Sting is running out of time. What a match. What a match. Sting getting up to his 3 minutes. 3 minutes. There's 3 minutes. There's only 3 minutes. Calm down, everyone. Big chop by Ric Flair. Sting in the ring. Firing back a big right hand. Ric Flair has got Sting against the ropes. Shoulder tackle, down goes Ric Flair, and into a sleeper! Ric Flair with a sleeper hold, but Sting hurls Ric Flair into the corner. Flair goes down, but Sting is down as well. Who is going to capitalize? The heavyweight championship of the world. Sting gets thrown out of the ring. Sting trying to get back up. Shoulder tackle to the midsection. Over the top, looking for a sunset flip of his own. Ric Flair is wobbling. He's trying to get the ropes. He does get to the ropes. And the ref saw he was holding the ropes. Nice reversal. What a match. What a match. This is back and forth. Close falls. You just don't know who's going to get it. We still haven't had up over the top. Ric Flair right to the other corner. Comes crashing down on Sting. We still haven't had the Scorpion Deathlock. What happens if he can get the Scorpion Deathlock on? Come on, Sting! Big chop by Flair. Flair against the ropes, boot to the midsection, and Sting is standing, and every blow is just firing him up even more. 1 minute! There's 1 minute! We got 60 seconds! 60 seconds! Sting firing in some big blows to Ric Flair in the corner. Ric Flair into the corner. Sting goes charging over. Big splash. Sting a splash. Flair goes down. Flair goes down. Sting looking for the Scorpion Deathlock. And he's got it. He's got it. It's applied. 20 seconds left. Ric Flair has got to survive in the Scorpion Deathlock. 20 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The time's up. JR losing his mind. 45-minute match. The whole match, he didn't get the Scorpion Deathlock applied. He manages to get it with like 30 seconds left. Ric Flair survives. They're going over to the judges. They're actually asking the kid from the Wonder stuff and the guy with the cardigan, what do you think? Who do you think should be the World Wrestling Champion? Wow. Little ad break here for a moment. Right, we're going back. We're going to get the official decision. Judges. I love going to the judges is great. We should bring them back. Okay, so the Patty woman has scored it for... She would, in all fairness. She would. Ric Flair giving her a little... Sting gets a vote. So 1 vote each. Sandy Scott. Sandy Scott scores it a draw. The match is a draw. The match is deemed a draw. So as a result, Ric Flair retains the World Heavyweight Championship. But he is pushed to his absolute limit. It says winner, Ric Flair, but that's not true, is it? It was a draw. You can't have a winner in a draw. Sting is still in the ring. Ric Flair has walked away. So the official decision is that it's a draw. Oh, so good. Flair retains, says John. Didn't NWA still have a board of 10 at this time? I don't know if it was a board of 10. I think they did still have a board. Paul Bosch was on it. They still had a few promoters, but of course a lot of the promotions at this point were really struggling, weren't they? Like, to the point where they were pretty much done. Tony says, the reason this has been a great program is because the NWA is the Major League of Wrestling. Don't forget, this is happening at the same time as WrestleMania 4. So you've got WrestleMania 4 on pay-per-view, and on free TV, you've got this, the very first Clash of Champions. This is where it started. So when you're watching Clash of Champions 2020, you'll know where it all began. It began with the NWA. 1988, Clash of Champions, main evented Ric Flair and Sting. Wow. Meltzer gives that main event match 4.75. So good. Nightmare's mum, shout out to you. Get your scores in for the show. What did you think? I'm be honest as well. Be honest, because I very much would like to know how that has aged. I think the main event is excellent. I think the main event definitely stands. Maybe parts of the undercard not so much. Crowd make this show. It really shows, doesn't it, how important such a passionate vocal crowd is. So good. John says 7.5. Eric says 8.4. Monica says 7.75. Austin says 7. RJ Madma says 8. Mr. Rotella says 9. Sonny Wolf says 7. I gotta say, I think these are really encouraging scores. If you think this is not WWE, it's NWA. It's a bit darker lighting-wise. It's a bit grittier. There's no mats. It doesn't have... You haven't got, like, Titantrons. You haven't got Pyro. You haven't even got mats around the ringside area. I mean, what you've got is just old-school wrestling, really. What you've just seen is a really old-school wrestling show that focuses on wrestling. Guys, we did not see one Hurricanrana. Not one. Didn't see one Hurricanrana. There was no reverse Ranas. There was no... I don't even know if there was... I don't think there was a single suicide dive. For that reason alone, this deserves 10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? Sean Reset says, I'm going to give it an 8, but the main event was a 9.5. Miss Clown 1 says, very enjoyable, 8. David Paul says, 9 out of 10. Sting versus Flair and JR not knowing the finish. A very good show, says Imtiaz. Shout out to you. Wrestling Days fan didn't like it, gives it a 0. J14 says 8.25. I love watching 80s wrestling. Heather says 8.5. I forgot just how good this pay-per-view was. William Hens says 9 for the main event. Rest of the show, 5.8. Rusty Shackelford says 9.9 for nostalgia reasons. Was there a super kick? No super kicks either. There was no suicide dive. Do you know what else there wasn't? Loads of people standing on the outside while someone jumped on top of them and then everyone fell down. There wasn't a single moment of that either. So for that reason, 10 out of 10. Was there a Canadian destroyer? Oh yeah, there was loads of them. That's all Arn Anderson was doing. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Dusty Rhodes. They were just running around Canadian destroying everyone. Yeah. And I think I saw Sue, the best friend's mum in a car. I think she pulled up at some point and drove off. It just shows that all you need is a ring, good wrestlers to put on a show for a crowd. Well, I think you need great, passionate fans as well. They make this. If ever there is an argument for how important wrestling fans are to a wrestling show, this. Just watch this show, because they're loud to start with, and they just keep getting louder. I mean, that was really true in the tag match earlier. The Midnight Express match was excellent. Midnight Express against the Fantastics, that's a really great match. So that tag match was really good. Didn't really care for the barbed wire match. It didn't really do a great deal. I didn't mind that first match, in all fairness. The college rules where you had to get a 1 count. That was different. I'm down for that. I'm down for different. So that was all right. So, I feel like the undercard was all right. It didn't really need the promos. They didn't do anything for me. It was nice to see Gary Hart and Nikita Koloff, but if they had been left out, I wouldn't have lost anything. Main event, incredible. So, yeah, this is... Oh, man, hard to score, to be honest, but I think I've got to go with an 8.5 as well, or something along that kind of benchmark. Again, I think if you allow for a 0.5 variation, so could be an 8, but I probably wouldn't go any lower than that, in all fairness. what a main event. I mean, 45 minutes they wrestled for. And I was thoroughly entertained all throughout that match. Because you didn't know which way it was going to go, what was going to happen. Was a figure four going to get hit? Was there going to be a Scorpion Deathlock applied at any point? And, the psychology in there of seeing Sting getting wore down, but then he came back at the end, and so good. Anyone in wrestling has seen that match. Everyone in wrestling. Surely everyone in wrestling. I'm pretty sure they must show people at the Performance Center that match. They must. They absolutely must. There's no point talking about how great Ric Flair is as a wrestler, how special he is, how he's one of the best of all time, and then not watching one of his most important matches. You can argue, I think it's fair to say that him against Ricky Steamboat is even better. That's kind of regarded as the matches. Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat is maybe the next level above this, but this is still right up there. Right, if you're gonna talk Ric Flair, if you're gonna have a Ric Flair evening, you're putting that match on. Austin 316 says, thanks for the great streams. I had lots of fun. Awesome, my friend. Awesome. Yeah, Heather, shout out to you. David P85, shout out to you. Jay Lee, shout out to you. Rusty Shackelford, shout out to you. Wrestling Days fan, shout out to you. Sonny Wolf, shout out to you. Shout out to everyone that joined us. Different show tonight. But I hope you enjoyed it all the same. Really, a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. And with that being said, we are done. We did a little stream tonight because we started late. But as I said, I hope you enjoyed it all the same. We're back tomorrow for SmackDown. Of course, on Saturday, we've got UFC. Big UFC card. That UFC card is huge this weekend. Sunday, I'm not sure what we're doing. I might be tempted to watch something a bit more modern. Maybe I don't want to watch modern Clash of Champions. They were rubbish. But maybe we could watch Night of Champions. Maybe the one that Sting. Doesn't Sting wrestle Seth in his last ever match? That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Watching Sting tonight finally arriving against Ric Flair. And then 1988 tonight. And then going all the way through to 2015, Night of Champions. When I'm sure that's his last match, isn't it? Against Seth. So maybe we watch that on Sunday. That could be fun. Gorilla Press, shout out to you. Total Divas on set. We're done with Total Divas. We finished that. That's definitely done. Right, we're done. I'm buzzing, man. Honestly, when you watch like a really great wrestling show like that, I do find myself like proper pumped up. So yeah, it's good actually because I need to go and edit Wrestling Escape Pod. So it's probably good that I'm in a pumped up mood. So awesome, guys. Thanks so much for joining. I really hope you had a great time. And as we said, plenty of streams on the way. So wherever you are, have a great evening. And hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.